This is DDS. We are your hosts, Blake Melton, Bradley Newberry, and back in studio, well, not quite in studio, but back, Matthew Two-Tone Blue Parker. Parker, tell me what's good, big guy.
Hey, man, after failing to be on here for a while, I've lost 2 battles with the stomach flu, but I am ready and raring to go finally.
Got that A.J. Brown disease.
I do.
I would bet there was something brown.
Oh, I guarantee you that. Hey, guys, before we get started here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button for us. Really helps us out. Hit the notification bell for notifications on new videos.
Thank you for joining us. Week 18. It's hard for me to even say that.
Yeah,
Week 18 NFL pick show. Before we dive into the picks, I want to pick the season ticket holders' brain just a little bit about what we've seen here over the last few weeks with the Titans. Parker, I don't know if you were there last week or not, but give us your thoughts about the Titans taking care of business with beating the streaking Dolphins, who I called fraudulent on this show last week.
Streaking.
I did suck it up, actually. I made it to that game, got soaking wet, and the one good thing was I was able to leave in the third quarter because it was just it was. I don't leave games early, but I still didn't feel great, and we were beating them down. It was wet. I got out of there, but you're right. They are fraudulent. They'd only played, if you looked at their last 6 quarterbacks they played, I think one of them isn't any good. The first team, y'all probably mentioned this, to win 7 in a row and lose 7 in a row in the same season. This team, you're right. They are fraudulent. I thought they would be better than they are. I don't really know what their issue is, but Tua did not look good in this game. And the Titans defense, give it to them, man. When you can put pressure with 4 people and you can drop 7 back, it just changes everything. It doesn't matter if you got Patrick Mahomes back there. If you can get pressure with 4, which the Titans are doing, they just couldn't do anything.
We called it. I have it written right here in my notes from last week. It was supposed to be a big day for the Titans defensive line and linebackers.
Yep.
Parker got to see it live. After watching Tua live, do you think he is still the quarterback for the Dolphins going forward?
I think so. I've been on him all year. I know a lot of people are down on Tua, but the weather was bad. I mean, it was really bad. Their offensive line, they have the worst offensive line in football. They are absolute trash. Titans are playing hot right now. This wasn't a Tua thing. I mean, he didn't look good, but he had no time. But what I did come out of this, man, Waddle is legit.
Yeah. He's an absolute.
He was the only name that we really mentioned. We kind of hinted at Gesicki a little bit, but he's a menace out there. He really is.
He is unbelievable good. He just needs to stay healthy. But yeah, I'm still on the Tua train. I've heard a lot of national people saying he shouldn't be starting week 1 for anybody next year. Be careful what you ask for. I don't know who these people like. What do you expect? Who are you going to go get? You going to get Marcus Mariota? You going to go get, a Jameis Winston? There's just nobody out there that there's only 10 good quarterbacks in the league, right? Just be careful what you ask for.
Maybe they want Minshew to come back to Florida.
Oh, good Lord.
That works for 1 game.
Yeah. 1 game. Totally agree, man. It was, what's that? Go ahead. You got something?
Oh, nothing. I was just saying suck it home because of the snow so you can enjoy the sound.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Boom. Boom.
What do you have there?
Oh, this is just a water beer, Bud Light.
Shout out to Bud Light.
Yeah. What can you really say about that game? I mean, it was a statement game. It was a game for Tennessee to kind of just say, hey, I mean, like you said, we are hot. Who wants some? Come get some. I enjoyed watching it. Every bit of it. Deontay Foreman was an absolute beast. Just running the ball however long he wanted, and he was just plowing guys over. It was impressive.
What does Derrick Henry have in that game? Because they couldn't stop a guy that was sitting on his couch 6 weeks ago.
And in a game where they're going to run the ball. Both teams have to run the ball in that game. So they're going to do it.
We said that the Dolphins couldn't run the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, we mentioned that in the AFC East preview show, that one of the worst rushing attacks ever.
Yeah, I think that, and this will kind of lead into the prediction show here. I mean, looking at how Hilliard and Foreman are doing, by committee, how much do we really think we're going to see Derrick Henry this week?
Yeah, that's the debate on Twitter right now.
How much do we need to see him?
That's the question. To Henry or not to Henry?
You know, do you get him in there for a series or two just to get him some cadence back? Or do you think, I mean, he's just the kind of athlete, in my opinion, I don't know that that's really a factor.
So in my head, like, obviously I think I'd want to see him for like 6 or 7 plays, but then you start thinking about it, the offensive line knows Derrick Henry. They know how to block for this guy. It's not like Adrian Peterson or Hilliard or Foreman coming that they've never worked with this guy. It's like they know Derrick Henry. And if there's any player in the league that I am sure has been doing everything in their power while they're out on IR to get ready to come back and be in top physical condition, I mean, it's Derrick Henry, right? Like who else is in that top 3? It's Derrick Henry and then by a mile somebody else. And this is what's scary for this. And this is jumping a little bit ahead, but Derrick Henry is going to be the healthiest he has ever been.
Yeah, think about all the rest that he's got now.
Exactly. So you think about it in terms of a game, like, right? So the first, second, and third quarter, he's good, and he wears you down in the fourth. Well, this is the fourth quarter of the season, and he didn't play the second and third quarter of this season. He's going to come into the fourth quarter fresh, and defenses are going to be tired, and he is going to pummel them. And if they get the bye, that's just a whole nother week of rest and another week for other teams to get beat up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Henry's what? He's still 5th or 6th in the rushing yards right now.
He's still 6th overall.
Yeah, so I mean, that just tells you how well he was playing. If he just can, hits the resume button there, like you said, he's just going to run roughshod over these guys. And I mean, the Titans really want this one. A lot of people are wondering, is this something? Are they taking their eye off the ball? Or is winning the AFC South enough? I don't think so. Kevin Byard's already said, we want to bye next week. We want that bye. So it's a point of pride for them now that they want that number 1 seed.
If Derrick Henry plays, amazingly, he has a chance to rush for 1,000 yards again.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, that's crazy, but we'll set up the game. We'll talk a little bit more about it here. It's the 11-5 AFC South champions visiting the 4-12 Houston Texans. Davis Mills has a chance, Parker, to set the all-time rookie passing records, beating another car down there in Houston this week. Can't believe we're saying that about Davis Mills of all people. But man, they only need to win over the lowly Texans to secure the AFC South number 1 overall seed and get that coveted bye.
Guys, I stand absolutely corrected on Davis Mills. I made so much fun of this guy. I don't think he's bad. I think he actually might be good. The team sucks. They're awful. But watching him, he looks like one of the better rookie quarterbacks to me. It's like, even if you just compare numbers. But, I mean, I'm just going to jump into this. It doesn't matter, though. The Titans are pissed off about losing to the Texans. Mm-hmm. The Titans have had the number 1 seed 2 times in their history in 2000, 2008. The Titans are going to absolutely slaughter the Texans. I'm talking by 4 touchdowns. Like, this game is not going to be close. They're going to make that loss to the Texans into the Jets meaningless. Because if the Titans lose this game, we're all going to be sitting around like we have been all year. Well, they lost to the Texans and they lost to the Jets. If they win this game, none of that matters. We're not talking about it. The number 1 seed, I absolutely think they throat stomp this team.
Yeah, I think this is a pride game. 100% this is a pride game. They got embarrassed at home by a team they had no business losing to. I mean, it's an MO of the Titans teams for whatever reason, but they took that one personal. And now they have an opportunity to really put an exclamation point on the regular season. Obviously, to secure the AFC number 1 seed, to get a bye. And this is 100% all about pride. There's no calling off the dogs. There's no taking your starters out. I agree with Parker. There is going to be no quarter given. This is going to be an absolute slobber knocker, throat stomp, mollywop, all together rolled into one.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing Logan Woodside in the second half of this game. It just, they're going to come out, and this is not going to be a game at the end where number 1 seed is up in the air because it's a 3 or 4 point game with 5 minutes to go. I just do not believe that whatsoever. This Texans team, they don't want to win. Like, why would Texans want to win this? The coaching staff and everybody, they don't want to improve their draft stock.
No,
this is just means so much to the Titans. It's just too big of a game.
Well, even if they put Logan Woodside in, I think that, I mean, you've got other things at play here. You got D'Onta Foreman, who this is huge for his career. You know, the way that he finishes this year. You know, I don't care if they put Logan Woodside in or not. D'Onta Foreman is out for blood. He's looking to hundo. That's what he wants. He's not going to be letting up one bit.
That's a really good point, because the Foreman is going to be, he's playing for even a bigger contract, because right now he's already got the contract to be the backup for the Titans next year. Like that's done, right? They're not going to let him go unless somebody comes out and says Atlanta or Miami and overpays him to come be their starter. I mean, he could be, because he has played, other than his fumbles, which have been an issue. Other than that, he has played like a starting running back in this league.
Yeah.
My notes are, of course, highlighting earlier this year, the Texans won in Nashville 22-13. Ryan Tannehill had 4 interceptions. He will not have 4 interceptions this game. The Titans' run defense is number 2 in the NFL, only allowing 85.9 yards rushing per game. They will lock down the line of scrimmage again.
Yep.
We talked about it last week with the Dolphins. I think they'll do this. I think we'll see the Titans up 27-12 and some late garbage backdoor touchdown by Davis Mills. I'm going Tennessee Titans 27-20.
Wow. Okay. It's a lot of backdoor garbage. It ain't going to be that close. I'm going 27-13 Titans, but it would not surprise me if it was a 4-score game. It really wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't see this being close at all. Like at all. I'm calling this 34-10.
Boom. Isn't it just funny? The king is returning. And it freezes over in Nashville. There's been a lot of memes going around talking about winter's coming. Well, winter's here, folks. Winter is here, and the king has returned.
I promise everybody out there, we didn't discuss like any of our transition tags at all. I'm just always listening to both of you and Blake, for transitions. And boy, he just set me up perfectly here. Blake mentions memes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a little trip down to Duval, where there's a little fan base.
Walking meme.
That has made a meme, Blake.
I know. I'm looking at it.
The
right
Clown.
here. The Clown Out.
They are going to have a Clown Out, Parker, this week. They are rising up, revolting against the thought that somehow Shad Khan does not get rid of current GM Trent Baalke. They are like, thousands of Jags fans are planning to wear clown attire to protest. Big red noses, colorful wigs. It's going to be a spectacle. And I'm not even talking about the game yet.
They're saying it's hundreds, if not thousands, that are going to do it. They're going to be participating.
Have you seen this trash on Twitter too?
Yes, and I'm with the fans. Like, I'm glad we're talking about this, because this guy not made one of the worst coaching hires in the NFL, and the NFL's been around for 100 years. He made literally the worst coaching hire in the history of the NFL.
Yep.
Not kind of bad. Not Adam Gase. He hired a guy that brings his former players in to try to convert positions 10 years later and out grounding on people. We know the whole story. Can't make it through one season. Shouldn't have made it through 4 weeks, to be honest with you. And he still has a job. Like, give me 5 minutes in the room with Shad Khan, and I could convince him to give me millions of dollars to be the coach if he's keeping this guy as general manager.
I think
it's absolutely ridiculous.
That may be one of their issues here, is that, we've heard rumblings that some of the candidates for the coaching job don't even want to interview unless Trent Baalke's gone.
Man, that's something else. I've got a quote here from Trevor Lawrence. He said, this is from CBSSports.com. We want to do everything we can to win for this city, for these fans, and obviously we haven't had much success this year. That's frustrating for us as well, so I understand the fans. But, I mean, I like that Trevor Lawrence is speaking out about this. The fact that he's not satisfied with the way that the organization is going right now, or the direction it's going. Yeah, some of these names, one name in particular, I think we talked about way back as a joke.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
We're not gonna talk about it just yet, but
I'll get to I got it pulled up here.
My God,
I want to hear.
Dude, just one other thing about Balky. It's not like he's like, oh, I made one mistake. Before the latest hire, before that, Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly went 2-14. Before that, Jim Tomsula, 5-11. It's not like this guy has some history of greatness and made one mistake. I don't understand why I just don't. I don't. It doesn't make sense to me why he's there.
I've got nothing. All I've got is a list of gentlemen that have already interviewed. Mm-hmm. And I'll go down. You can say one quick word if you want. Doug Peterson was in on December 30th, Parker.
That, I'll go ahead and tell you right now, that's my favorite one.
Okay. Then we had defensive coordinator from the Bucs, Todd Bowles, January the 3rd.
Not bad.
Now, Blake and I have mentioned this one. On January the 4th, they interviewed Jim Caldwell, who we haven't seen. Yeah, we haven't seen in the NFL in a minute, but gosh, if you want to try to start to build a new culture and stability,
it's a good place to start.
It's a good man.
I didn't really understand why he ever lost his job to begin with. I have been a Caldwell fan. It's kind of like the Peterson thing. I didn't really understand that either. So, yeah, honestly, any of these candidates you've mentioned so far, I would be okay with.
So here are the two that are in today. Offensive coordinator from the Bucs, Byron Leftwich, is in the house today.
Bring back Byron.
Listen, I know you love Byron Leftwich. But what has Byron Leftwich done?
Oh, nothing. I just want to beat up on Jaguars.
I could be the offensive coordinator for Tom Brady.
Right, but he did do well. Offensive coordinator for the Cardinals as well. It's not just Tom Brady, but I know what you're saying. I think for this organization that they do need someone that's done it before. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree, and I love Leftwich as a player. I think it's I just don't. There are other names out there I think that are better for this because, dude, like you're bringing in a first-time guy into this situation under Balky. Like you need somebody that knows what they're doing. It just feels to me like it needs somebody that's got a little experience. I'm not all about the recycled person, but this situation, it just feels different.
I'll tell you. I mean, I've been a big Byron guy, but going against the likes of Jim Caldwell, if I had to choose between the two, I'm going Caldwell.
Me too. Am. The Jags fan says Caldwell too. Today, after lunch, after they interview Leftwich, they're going to have Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore in the house.
That has to be just a courtesy interview. There's no way that's a real thing.
Hey, no, offensively though, man, he would be great for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, because he's like 2 years older.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that doesn't matter, right? Some of these young guys are great, but I can't wait for you to get to another game.
Well, I'm waiting. You don't have to wait any longer. I've still got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 more names, and guess who's next? Alabama Crimson Tide offensive coordinator and the killer of the Houston Texans, Bill O'Brien.
What better person to come in and just absolutely drop a nuke on the Jacksonville Jaguars? If you hate the Jaguars, you're rooting for Bill O'Brien to come.
This is my endorsement. I want Bill O'Brien to be the next coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then after that, I want him to coach the Colts and just destroy the AFC South for the Titans win for 20 straight years. Like the Texans aren't going to be good for another decade. That's how bad he said. I can't believe this guy's not even. I know Alabama's going to the national championship game, but he hasn't even been that good for Alabama. It blows my mind for how bad of a job he did in Houston. Like it's really is. Like I was talking to somebody about this earlier. It's almost like they've sat down in a room and they're like, all right, who is the worst person we could interview? and they picked Bill O'Brien. I just don't even.
It's more of the same. This is more of the same from that management group.
Is he obsessed with college coaches? Is that what it is? Because that's kind of his MO. Like,
yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, there's three other names here. You got the defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, the retread from the Falcons on the list coming in. Is it pronounced Eberflus?
Yes.
Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator from the Colts. And then another name that was actually there under another regime was Nathaniel Hackett, Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator. I hope it's one of the guys that have done it before. I'm looking at Peterson, Bowles, and Caldwell with Leftwich. I think it's. I don't know.
Leftwich is the guy, is the emotional pick, right? It's the guy. He was the quarterback for Jacksonville. You know, he has an emotional tie. Is he ready for it? Probably not. But it sounds good, right?
Dude, Parker, I think
it's a college. That's how you hire college coaches.
So here's what I think. I think, Parker, if they keep Balky, then that opens the door maybe as Leftwich as the front runner, because I think Leftwich is just naive enough to do that with Balky. And I think if they get rid of Balky, it opens the door for one of the veterans with Peterson or Caldwell.
I think they do that because I think it saves Balky for a little bit because he is a fan favorite. You know, so bring in the guy that's the fan favorite. But I'm with you. The first three names on that list are the ones to go with there. But I would like to think and I know Vrabel's not this, but I am in the mindset you never hire a defensive coordinator type of a position for a head coach, because if your offense is good, they're just going to get poached every single year, as they have here in Tennessee. We've seen it 2 years in a row. I really believe as a head coach, it needs to be an offensive-minded guy, because they're not poaching defensive players or defensive coordinators that much. They're coming after your offensive guys. So I do believe in that. But Jacksonville, again, is a different situation. Somebody with, even if it is a defensive guy, somebody with experience, I believe, is incredibly important there. I do think Leftwich is going to get a chance, and I think he should. I just don't think this is the right situation.
Don't forget, Shad Khan's first hire was a defensive coordinator in Gus Bradley. That didn't work.
I'm okay with defensive coordinators in certain situations. Like, I actually think there's a name that you didn't say that they haven't interviewed that would be a great coach there. And I think that's Raheem Morris, who's the defensive coordinator for the Rams. He had a chance at Tampa Bay. He went 10-6. He had freaking Josh Freeman is their quarterback, and he got canned down there. I thought he was a great coach. They just need somebody that's had some experience, because if you get somebody new down there, we've seen what happens. And hopefully Trevor Lawrence's are already broken from this whole Urban Meyer experiment.
Well, if he is broken and they hire Bill O'Brien, O'Brien's first move is trade Trevor Lawrence for a backup running back.
There you go.
And give away a first-round pick.
Yes. Yeah. And here, go ahead and take a pick, too. This week, we have the 9-7 Indianapolis Colts visiting the 2-14 Jacksonville Jaguars. All the Colts have to do is win, Blake. But the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014.
Yeah, but this is the reality. This is a whole nother level of piss poor. This is a whole nother level of bad down in Duval. I know what the history says. And I'm not a Carson Wentz fan by any stretch of the imagination. But I just don't think that the Jags have a prayer against the Colts. I think they're done. I think they're ready for the season to be over with. I think they want to know who their next head coach is going to be. And I think a lot of them just, quite frankly, are ready for the season to be over with. Bottom line. So with that, I'm calling for another blowout. I'm calling for another touchdown-less game from the boys down in Duval, 24-3.
Yo, I'm tired of hearing about the Colts. They suck.
I hate them too.
He's going to do it.
I keep hearing over and over again, like DVOA stats and weighted, and the Colts are the best of this, they're the best of that. You know what? You keep losing. Like, I literally was listening to Show I Respect, a national podcast yesterday that picked the Colts to go to the Super Bowl for the AFC, and they may not even be in the playoffs. I don't get it. Wentz sucks. Jonathan Taylor all of a sudden is like an MVP candidate, although he can't even get close to what Derrick Henry was doing last year. Don't get me started on that. Their defense is overrated. I don't know why everybody's in love with Frank Reich. Like, yeah, he's a good coach. They're okay. I just think that for some reason they cannot win in Jacksonville. And I think Trevor Lawrence continues the streak.
Whoa.
And I think he puts Indy out of their misery, shakes up this entire thing. And I think they win. I don't think Indy is – I just don't think they're that good. I see these point spreads, and it blows my mind. I think Jacksonville wins this one 23-20. Instead of it being last week with the Raiders when they lost that score, they're going to say same score this week. They're going to win, put Indy out of their misery. They suck. Wentz sucks. Let's just go ahead and they're going to Jacksonville it up and not get the first pick. That's exactly what is going to happen.
It's a lot of points for an offense that sucks. The only thing I'll say.
Oh boy. Why am I the tiebreaker as the Jags fan here?
I'm hoping you're the voice of reason here.
By the way, I don't think every time I pick the Jags to win, which is like 3 times this year, I don't think it has happened.
Dude, so
yeah, he doesn't believe what he just
something
said.
has to give here. Both you and Blake are 11-5 in the Jaguars picking. Someone will come out on top, and someone will find themselves in second place with the Jags picks.
Yep.
All right, so I'll just go through my little worksheet here. Frank Reich. I don't want to overstate things, but the facts are the facts. When someone asked him about the Colts losing streak to the Jags on the road, we've lost 6 straight on the road versus them, 5 there in Florida and 1 in London. But the truth of the matter, just like Blake said, look, the Jacksonville Jaguars have lost 8 straight games. They haven't looked particularly good in any of them. The clown thing, the clown out makes me want to puke. But I mean, whatever gets them in the building, right? Right, Shad Khan? Whatever gets them in the building. Spend some of their money on your beer. Maybe dip in the pool for a minute with their wigs.
Mm.
This line is floating around 16 or so.
It's an insane line. It's an insane line.
I think the Colts get scared here. I think that all they want to do is run the ball, and they should. Give Jonathan Taylor the ball. Don't try to be fancy with Carson Wentz. Parker's already alluded to it. You put the ball in his hands, and bad things may happen in Duval.
Yeah.
Just run the ball. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, Colts. Get out of there with a win. I think the Jaguars have a great chance at covering because if the Colts will run the ball, it'll shorten the game. I'm going Colts 21-17.
Look, yes, Jacksonville has not looked good, but these two teams did play in Week 10. And Trevor Lawrence in that game, by the way, was 16 of 35 for 162 yards, and they still only lost by 6.
And they gave up, if you remember, they gave up a blocked punt for a touchdown, Parker.
Yes, because I had this pick. Yes, maybe Max, I had this in a parlay for them to straight up win. It just made me crazy. But they own them. This is a divisional game. I don't care how bad you are, how good your one team is. When you have these games, you know each other, right? 16 points is just too many for one. And the clown out, all this stuff, it just makes it think to me that Trevor's going to show up and say, you know what, screw this, and go out there and win this one.
I would love it if he showed up with his long flowing locks and somehow they're either green or blue on game day.
It looks like the Joker.
Do it for the fans.
I don't know.
Well, our game of the week. And there's some interesting storylines behind this one, Parker. We're looking at the very last game of the year, regular season game of the year. 9-7 Chargers at the 9-7 Raiders. After all the Sunday madness settles, we're left with this, gentlemen. Win and you're in. Tie with a Colts loss. And they're both in. Have you been reading about the potential of both teams handshaking at the 50 and just taking knees the entire game? Because I have.
I have too, and there's no way that happens.
Wow.
For one, Jacksonville's going to beat Indy. But two, there's no way that happens with professional.
Unbelievable.
So I think they would be punished for that happening. But I am looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be really fun. I was texting your brother about that this morning. The problem with these two teams is if they both play perfect, right? I think it's no doubt to which team is better. If they're both playing perfect, the Chargers are by far have the higher ceiling.
Totally agree.
But does that happen? They don't play perfect very often, but they have the better quarterback. They have the better receivers. They've got the better running back. They've got better defensive players. They've got really everything better other than the kicking game. The Chargers should easily walk away with this, but the Raiders they're kind of living that 99 Titans miraculous season. They've had coaches get fired, players run over and kill people, another one threaten and get cut off the team. I don't want the Raiders to win this game. I do not want the Raiders in the playoffs because it smells like some crazy, weird juju going on that I don't want to have to play.
I agree. I mean, whenever you get late in the season in any sport and you have a team like the Raiders that sneaks their way into the postseason, there's not a good scenario that ever comes up when you play them. Only bad things can happen. Players get hurt, or most likely you just get beat outright. Is Waller going to come back? Does anybody know?
Yeah, I had that question. I said, where's Waller? I think he's got a decent shot to play if they play and not take knees.
Yeah, but Justin Herbert's a big time primetime player. He likes the lights to be on him. That's for sure. Got a lot of really good stats there.
Good Lord.
14, 5 primetime games. 5.
Look, he's reading my notes.
14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 109.5 passer rating. I'm stealing Newberry's thunder here, folks, live and on the air. But yeah, hey, big time players show up in big time games. I think that's what's going to happen here.
Parker, I'm rooting for the taking knees and proving my older brother right that this league is just rigged and fixed anyway.
There's no way. It would be an incredible storyline. It'd be the only thing that we all talked about. By the way, Darren Waller was limited in the walkthrough today at practice. I think he'll play, but what's he going to be, 70%? 70% Darren Waller is better than anything the Titans got. So what am I going to say? I have seen that trending through Twitter. I just don't, there's just no way.
The world wants it.
I want it. It'd be hilarious.
The fans would revolt.
All right,
if that happened.
Let's just pause here. So this is the very last game, right?
Yeah.
National game of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Massive ratings.
If this happens, that's what I was about to ask. Would the ratings spike up if it's happening, or would they go down if it's happening?
No, it would be the biggest. No, being on TV and seeing all how these ratings happen, it would be the biggest. It'd be the highest rated game of the year.
Yeah, it'd be a spectacle.
It would be, because you get ratings every 15 minutes is how it works. So let's say they did at the beginning. At the end of the first quarter, it would just be crazy ratings. But by the end of the third quarter, it would be nothing.
That's not a real thing. If that happens, then we are living in a simulation. That's what I'm going to say. If that happens,
would be bad for the NFL.
Yes, then we live in a simulation if that happens. Because that's the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life.
But still, we got to remember the first shoe that has to fall is that the Jags have to beat the Colts for this to even be a talking point.
Jags are not going to beat the Colts.
Oh, man. So for my brother, of course, Blake's already mentioned my Herbert notes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll skip to my Raiders notes. The Raiders have won 3 straight games by 4 points or less. The interim coach for the Raiders is a lame duck. Quack, quack, dead, you're out. Chargers, if they play football, win 23-21.
Yep. Didn't hide my pick very well. I'm going to say Chargers 28-24.
Raiders are 6-2 in one-score games and 3-0 in overtime games. They can't keep that up. It's like the stat I said with Cardinals a few weeks ago about all the fumbles and how they finally. You just can't keep winning games like this. I believe it's going to be a good game for the first half, but I think that this is going to be the Eckler show, and the Raiders are just not going to be able to stop him. And I do think it gets a little bit more embarrassing in the fourth quarter. I'm going to go 31-21 Chargers.
Sorry, newbie. We're all on the Chargers.
Yep. No one wants to see the Raiders in the postseason.
No.
He texted me this morning. He goes, "Hey, I got football. My team Sunday night and Monday night." And my response was, "Too bad they're both going to lose."
Well, we can talk about teams that are supposed to lose that have a great shot at winning here in Week 18 in our underdog section. Blake, have you identified such a team?
I have. I am looking at the state of Ohio.
Your favorite state.
Yeah.
You love it.
Absolutely. Hey, it's turned out to be a lot more entertaining this year than I ever thought it would be. Joey Football has he's been impressive, I guess, this year. But he's not going to be playing in this game. So him and Mixon are both out. Mixon's out. He's on the COVID protocol, right?
He's on the minor illness.
Yeah.
Sniffles.
Yeah. But there's some stuff going on in Cleveland that I don't like the feel of. A lot of Baker hate going on right now.
Oh, he's really hot with the media, Parker. There's some Twitter war going on there too.
You know,
he's such a
he is, man. And he's got a long history of it all the way back to college. He can't handle criticism. When he starts playing bad, he just kind of folds. Basically, I mean, it seems like everybody in Cleveland kind of wants him out. So I think this is actually going to be the nail in the coffin for Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to throw about 16 interceptions. I think they're going to lose 458 to -2. And then they're going to trade Trevor Lawrence to Cleveland, and then they're going to send Baker Mayfield down to Duval. There you go. Cincinnati, underdog. All that other stuff, you can wrap that in a parlay and put a freaking bow on
it. You're right, though. I'll tell you about Joey Football, man. He has been playing. He's a star. He has been playing his absolute mind out these last few weeks. I know he's not playing this game, but he has been playing so well. He's super fun to watch. I mean, we did 525 yards 2 weeks ago, one of the most ever. I absolutely love it. Probably has the best receiving core in football too. As far as I'm sorry, which one? This was the
underdog.
Straight
up win.
The straight up win. I believe I kind of have my best bet and my underdog is it's kind of the same. Could do the same one. But
you can double dip.
I'm not going to. I haven't done it all year, so I'm just going to go with Falcons to straight up beat the Saints.
Ooh.
This line's small. Saints have a good defense, but Matt Ryan's still a good quarterback. I know people forget about him, but he's still a good quarterback out there. And this isn't really I'm an Atlanta fan thing. This is more of a Taysom Hill is really, really bad thing. If you go back to week 8 and you look at all the quarterbacks, there are only 3 quarterbacks that have been worse than Taysom Hill. Mike Glennon, Zach Wilson, and Cam Newton. Taysom Hill is not a quarterback. I don't know what they're doing in New Orleans and why they paid all this money to him, but Falcons are going to straight up win this game, and I'm not really sweating it on this one. So I'm going to Falcons to straight up beat the Saints.
And mine is a little matchup, a little divisional matchup of teams that know each other well. This team apparently plays the Rams, beats them. I don't know what this is, and maybe that's what Parker's kind of leaning on his best bet, but there's something about the San Francisco 49ers when they're playing the Rams. It's like the Rams offense can't get over that hump for some reason.
Yep.
Against this team. It's not as much as talking about Jimmy G, who we've seen throwing at practice. It's not about Elijah Mitchell, their rookie running back. I love Debo and Kittle.
Yeah.
But it's something about the San Francisco defensive scheme versus the Rams that just give the Rams fits. We saw last week with my best bet was Baltimore to cover the spread against the Rams. The Rams coming out barely winning and Baltimore covering. I think that the 49ers can keep things rolling here and just straight up win. I'm going San Fran with my underdog pick.
Yeah, I looked at that one pretty hard too.
Was that your best bet?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump into that since it kind of piggybacks off that. That's my best bet. 4.5 points getting 49ers. And actually, that opened at 6, which is a gift from the gods. Any team that plays anybody in that division getting more than 3, you should take as your best bet. It's just a lock. Like all the teams in that division, I know Seattle's down, but they're still like capable of beating anybody. And 49ers have beat the Rams 5 games in a row, and they've covered 5 of the last 6. Shanahan owns his former boss in McVay. I don't know what it is either. It's something that it doesn't matter if it's Goff or Stafford. Somehow, and you touched on this, Bradley, the Rams offense does not work against the 49er defense. And of course, you mentioned Kittle and Debo, but I think that is, we do picks every single week where we pick every single game. And I'll say right now, this is going to be my number 16. This is sure feels like a surefire lock to me.
Boom. All right. For me, best bet. I'm looking at Green Bay and Detroit. Right now, they got Detroit keeping it at around 3.5.
Can they keep it close?
I just don't see that. I just don't. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers plays. I don't care if the guy in the third row with a cheese head on his head plays. I just don't see it not being at least a touchdown victory. I just don't.
What if Joe Milton plays?
Whoa.
I don't think Joe Milton will ever see an NFL field. So I don't think there's anything to worry about there. Joe Milton might do some kind of like little trick shot thing that they could do with him, see if he can throw it out of Lambeau Stadium, but that's about it. But yeah, so I'm going Green Bay's covering that 3.5 all day long.
In my best bet game, I'm looking at the Seattle Seahawks at Arizona Cardinals. You've got one team. Could this be Russell Wilson's last game as a Seattle Seahawk? They're coming off a huge win at home. And then you have, on the other hand, the Arizona Cardinals, who did they get right last week when they thumped the Cowboys? Both teams coming in kind of hot. Arizona needs it. Parker is absolutely correct here. Listen to this. Russell Wilson is 24-12 against the spread as an underdog in general. He's 5-2 against the spread when it's 7 or more. I think that there's plenty of motivation here to beat a divisional team in the Arizona Cardinals. I think that he will play up possibly his last game before he becomes a Green Bay Packer. I'm going Seattle to potentially straight up win, but give me the points, whatever it is. Where is it? 7, 6.5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? I don't care. Give me Seattle plus the points. It says currently on DraftKings 6.5. Seattle plus 6.5 and possibly to straight up win.
Boom.
Hey, there's a lot to be said about these last game things. It's kind of why last week I took Pittsburgh pretty hard. They suck, but it's Big Ben's last game at home. It means something. Just like Russ could be his last game in Seattle uniform. That's a real thing. I don't think he will pay enough attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us today on this, our Week 18. Yeah, it is hard to say. Week 18 picks and reaction show to Week 17. Check us out on Twitter at DDS Sports Talk. Let's get that conversation going there. Tell me what the playoff picture is going to be whenever the dust settles. The Titans going to end up having that AFC number 1 seed? I think so. Boys, final thoughts.
Number 1 seed And I don't even want to have to watch football that weekend.
I'm hoping for the taking knee debacle. And what will the announcers talk about for 60 minutes, which equates to over 3 hours of TV time? What would they do?
If you like chaos, that's what you want to see for sure.
I want to see it.
I want to see that during the Manning cast.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Well, my final thought is it's winter and the king has returned. Two-tone blue all the way. You guys be well.